finals.
And it looks like we got
Hello,
a
Nyrol.
mono blue versus is it? So red blue.
Yeah. Red and blue is kind of dominating so far the evening, and Kenneth is in the finals after some exquisite play on round two against Ryan, and everyone is setting up the blue mana.
Okay, okay. We're probably gonna get nothing too crazy going on in the early game here.
Oh, that's I can't think it's kind of crazy. Fog Bank, 0-2 flyer, and any damage that to you is basically nullified.
So the definition of tough to get through defense and a board gummer up, or if that's
Yeah, I
never
mean
heard
this
of
is
one.
gonna be a nightmare for David's deck because he's the EZ aggressive deck, and then
That being said, it still dies to lightning bolts because it only prevents combat damage.
yeah, there's ways around it, but it's not something easy to play. So that's 2-1. That's not gonna get through. But yeah, build out the board. Let's see. I'm trying to get wide. Oh yeah.
Okay, Veiled
Where
Serpent.
Serpent, oh my god, this is disaster too for David's from David's perspective. Because it's like, yeah, it's a 3 mana 4/4 blocker. And it can only attack if they have an island, which by the way David's deck does have. Right now it doesn't because that's not an island over there for the blue mana. But this might be able to attack against David. David now has to watch out if he plays his islands.
Yeah, you gotta be really mindful of
Oh,
and David just
that's slow.
leans right into it.
Yeah, he fears no man. It's like island down. So now the Were Serpent is active. Now there's a Fog Bank. So the game and a pass.
Okay, hold it up. Blue mana.
Yeah,
Could have some
the
interactive
roller.
spells. Also, maybe some instant speed card draw.
Ooh,
Oh,
second
and
Were
a
Serpent.
second Veiled Serpent.
Yeah, I think David is reassessing a lot of his choices in life right now. It's like okay, like two Were Serpent. That's 8 damage coming in per turn.
Not only that, just like absolute nightmare to get through here.
Yeah, I don't even think that
And
he's
we got a
even
catalog coming up.
contemplating. Yeah, so he didn't have counters, but it looks like catalog. Let's try to refill and then see what we can do with these. But yeah, if I was in David's seat, I'm like, okay, this game is gone basically. Like I would, yeah,
I mean, we still play it through. I mean, maybe like getting another two-power creature, double blocking is a possibility. You're still like
yeah,
playing on the
losing a lot
back
of
foot.
cards too. Yeah. I mean, David showed it time and time again that he's resourceful. He has ways to get around stuff which you wouldn't expect him to get around. So let's see how that goes. But
Okay,
yeah,
so 4 mana up. Most answers in this format come around 5 mana, so maybe not answering right away, but maybe setting up for a turn later to answer.
yeah, he's thinking what he should add here, and yeah, what are the good plays? And I think the one is sifting through the Dromosaur or whatever the card's name, the 2/2 which or 2/3 which gets the buff, but he's choosing to go aggressive. That's one way to get around the 8/8, the 4/4s, get to the air, and then get to the Shift's Embrace. But then the Fog Bank is still
So they just bounce off each other.
Yeah, Kenneth
Perhaps a
points out.
misplay here.
Yeah, Kenneth points out that this does a flying too. Yeah, I mean, feel like Kenneth should feel very good at this point. Like he's blocking in the air. He rules the ground. The island is there for the attack. Like I just don't see how he wouldn't be confident in his position. And oh yeah, there's a cycling here.
Probably looking for a land right now would be my speculation.
Yeah. I mean,
Three mana is not exactly where you want to be, especially
take
for
8.
mono blue. Like 4 or 5 is really where you want to be.
You cannot happily have South David with the life totals. So get that 18. But yeah, exactly what you just said. Like at this point, Kenneth, has everything what he wants at this stage of the game. The mana is, if he can set up the mana is the more important thing.
So is player David is up to 5 mana. A lot of options come online at 5 mana. Potentially some creatures that can block effectively. Heat Ray would also work here to kill off one of these 4/4s.
Yeah, I mean you gotta like you can't just take 8. every turn. Like you gotta do something with those.
So let's see where it goes with it.
Oh, it's a
Okay.
Viashino Outrider.
Great blocker in this circumstance.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's got 4 power, and if you block, you don't have to pay the echo cost anymore.
yeah, yeah.
So the dream play right now would be if our mono blue player can bounce that. Forces the opponent to just like dump a whole bunch more mana, almost taking a turn off.
Oh yeah, that would be devastating. Yeah, that would probably seal the game here, considering yep, there's that land, so it's maybe not the not the hero you want, but the hero you deserve.
Target artifact or enchantment owner's
Yeah,
hand. So
yeah,
the Shivan Embrace goes up and can press the damage now. Can
yeah,
trade with one,
yeah. And I think David is very happy for this trade. He's on the back foot, taking a lot of damage every turn.
but
Uh,
this is also one of those things doesn't have to pay the echo anymore.
yeah, yeah. I think David was winning on this trade. I think Kanata also is okay with this trade because he's the deck with the more card draw and the bigger things later on potentially.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things you want to force your opponent into a dynamic where they're not making, they don't have the choices to make. Like you're forcing them
Yeah,
to like make bad choices and stuff like that. Like they got to make do with best as they can with what they have.
yeah. Also, yeah, because I think dynamically too, like Kanata's gotta be thinking that okay, I'm the deck who rules the late game, although he hasn't seen what David has in store in some cases, because David's deck is not bad in the late game either. And
Okay, okay.
yeah, and now this is also a potential trade with the other serpent because if it gets blocked or blocking, it gets +2/-2.
Now this is a perfect example of David right now is not playing to win the game, but playing to buy more time to win the
Exactly.
game.
Yeah,
And
he's doing a
the
good job.
mono blue player is just kind of looking like, okay, what can I do? How can I close this out? What are my actions?
Wall of junk.
So this is not the thing you really want to be doing in a play like this. That
Yeah,
Wall of Junk is a great buying time card, and really in a position like this, you want to be dropping a flyer if you can. You want to be getting to some action. You don't need more defense. Your opponent is the one that needs to really be blocking right now, not you. And we're just settling in for a long game right now.
yeah, absolutely. The trenches have been docked, so so
And this is just like this perfect example of games that have really gummed up boards. Like these boards are just like rife full of stuff.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we saw it in earlier rounds. I think Kenneth, if he can get the Colossus with the Water key on board. The challenge here is that while Ryan's deck didn't have too many counter spells, like David's actually playing Power Six.
Well, it's okay. So now we get Matron, which is huge.
Yeah, and then David thinking, what should he do? Because right now the decision is that does he want to get a Goblin, which he can cast right now, or does he want to get another Matron and then just go up on card
Sure,
advantage?
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
you just get huge advantage off of that because the matron gets the goblin that you
yeah,
want to get later.
exactly. Yeah,
But it also gives you one more material on the board, but two, it also thins out your deck.
yeah.
You,
He's reconsidering because he's inclined to go for the choice to play two spells this turn. But now he's the what is this? The value person one, and he has the other matron. So he's
yep.
setting up for that matron into another goblin. That's another thing. So now he has like he's stabilized at this point. I think.
Yeah, he's bought a lot of time and stemmed the bleeding, but
Yeah, the cycle.
okay, okay, we got another cycle
That's
going.
also a crazy combo. The serpents with the spell which makes the land an island. Like
Yep.
like Kenneth actually can force this situation. He doesn't need to rely on the mercy of his opponent's deck that they play an island naturally. They can just give you he can just give them an island. And now the lands are coming.
Okay, so we're up 5 mana. 5 mana is really where this deck really has the rubber hit the road.
Yeah, Kenneth is thinking, what are the options here?
A lot of options are definitely going to be available.
He has to be strategic because now he like those days are gone when he was turning two serpents sideways and then connecting for eight. So that's not anymore an option from his side.
So as we can see, there's a rewind in hand, which gives the ability to counter.
Yeah, and I think David knows that too. Like, I think he's just thinking, like, okay, what do I want to feed to the rewind? Like, am I slow rolling this, trying to play out less meaningful stuff? And that's what he goes for. Like, get another matron, get another goblin.
which is fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then if this eats a counter spell, I think David would have been fine with it. And then now it's like, okay, there's a smaller goblin coming in, but a goblin nonetheless.
And
And
thinning out the deck is a perfect example of just like you're thinning out the deck, just kind of set up for a good long game.
yeah, I think also what's happening, I think David's gonna be thinking that, like, look, Kenneth has a lot of board, but only one very good creature, honestly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Ken's board is just full of blockers, effectively. Really,
Yeah, so he plays out. Ooh, that was Dragon Blood. Yeah, so he plays out
Dragon
the
Bloods
Dragon Blood,
gets played out, and
and
it's
then it's a
eats a
counter.
counter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He actually went for it. That was maybe a little bit too bold. It's the rewind.
And this is one of those perfect examples of a great target. Dragon's Blood,
And
if
that was catalog.
is left on the field, can make any creature just become insanely scary very fast.
Yeah, I cannot correctly realize that the game will be about dragons probably at that point. So he catalogs, trying to eat the land drops. And let's see if he succeeded. Yeah, one
And
more.
gets the land drop.
Yeah, so there you go. Free spell.
Yep.
Peregrine Drake again.
And just got the flyers now. Now forces Dave into this weird dynamic where it has to put the Shivan Embrace to get defense up in the air somewhere. And could really open up to getting blown out by either a counter spell or a bounce spell.
Yeah, yeah. And he's only at 8, so it's not like he has a ton of time.
Yeah.
Like it's four turn, unblockable clock. So he's watching out. He does have a full hand though. Like he has significant card advantage despite Kenneth resolving catalogs. Then yeah, like it looks like. I mean, the Goblin Matrons are also giving extra cards. Um, yeah, and Zephid's Embrace. So this is
Okay.
this,
This is a great target to counter or bounce the creature that is going on. And neither one of those things happen. Zephyr's Embrace is insanely powerful.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the card. Yeah, I think though. Oh no, it's still a very good blocker because it gets +2/+2. So even with the +2/-2, that thing still blocks and eat the Drake. So
Yeah.
so there's no attacks for Kenneth. And there's a Goblin Patrol on the sideline arriving, and now the
And the
Colossus is in.
Colossus hits the
Big
table.
Daddy, Big Daddy is in.
8/8 is a lot of power, and having the super menace is very challenging. Needs 3 creatures to block.
Yeah, I think they are discussing that the Dromosaur has hexproof too, and how big it is, how much damage the
It
Colossus
does
will take.
not have hexproof. It actually, in fact, has shroud.
Shroud, yeah, even better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is before Shroud even had the name Shroud yet. We just
yeah,
wrote
yeah,
the words out on the cards.
yeah. I feel like a newbie too because it hexproof. I haven't played in that era. I started to play after Shroud.
Yeah, so Hexproof was just the updated version because it led to a lot of misplays and unique dynamics. So Ken's got a very unique dynamic here because if you send in the Colossus, it forces some awkward blocks on the other side, but then you either have to find the key to untap it or you need to pay the life. And 8 life to untap it is a lot.
Yeah, and I think that again, right? Like how much life totals matters. Like if David was in, let's say, like 14 life, he might just take the first 8.
Sure, yeah, but when
Now
you're
we get
8,
the fourth. Yeah,
it's a
it's
one-shot
exactly
robot.
lining up. I don't know. Like, would you take the 8 if you were at 9 here? 10.
Um,
It's a blue deck though. They don't have
the
burn
blue
spells.
deck really doesn't have creatures. Like it's just like
Yeah,
not attacking here, right?
yeah. I'm thinking maybe at 10
And
I'll take it.
the thing is, like, you take 8, and then your opponent maybe takes 8 to untap it. Like you're kind of at symmetry, and it kind of like
And
isn't
you are
that
the one with
bad.
the burn spells too.
Yep.
So that might happen. And now, what are we doing? So this was actually, I think, a spiral. We're gonna see it on screen coming up in a second.
Go to the cameraman, get a wider view.
Yeah, so it's a spiral. Yeah, yeah. So David
Okay.
actually forgot the trigger on this one. But
And
you're gonna
did
see
not
that.
choose to catalog the top.
Yeah. Yeah. So now I think what happened is that he was like he was paying a lot of attention for the fact that how he's gonna block against the Colossus, and then the Drake can come in still, and then
Yep.
he wanted a flyer to make sure that he can chop the Drake.
Okay, so we got four creatures coming in. One of them with the super menace needs to be blocked by three creatures. Math is definitely kind of going to be awkward on David's side here, but let's see what happens first. We got some interaction before blockers,
Oh, that's I think it's a recent. Yeah, just send it back,
and just
and
send it back to the
now
hand, which now Dave has some really good blocks, but still is probably going to lose some things on the board.
yeah, you can
What
just
Dave
take it.
loses is the big question now. Because
Yeah,
those matrons only have got one toughness, so they're dying to everything.
yeah, I think probably there was a spiral. We're gonna see what's going on in the graveyard once the dust settles here with the block. And now the Zephyr Embrace Dromosaur, it's like yeah, it's becoming a real deal. So the Dromosaur eats the Drake. That was a big play because now
Yep,
because of that rescind, that block was possible.
yep.
If the rescind wasn't happening, then then Dromosaur has to be blocking duty. And now there's another rescind, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah. So what is being
And
bounced
are
over
we
there?
gonna return the enchantments back to the hand?
It might just be the Drake.
Because you can return the enchantment back to the hand,
Yeah, and then have a trade there.
and then you're now trading off the creatures.
I mean, yeah. It's just the enchantment is a problem. It does help though, because the Dromosaur grows against the Colossus very well. Yeah, that's an interesting play because I think yeah, Rescind is such a powerful card.
Just the ability to bounce
Anything.
things are very powerful.
Yeah,
Just because there's so many powerful enchantments.
yeah, cycling. Yeah, like also in this format, you have to like work for your cards to reach their full potential. Like for example, Echo is a dynamic which is like that. If they pay the Echo and then you just bounce it, now they need to pay it twice again. Like that's one way to incrementally get ahead. So yes, there's like players in the tank here that what should be bounced. Uh, oh,
Really
that is interesting. So, huh.
interesting.
Yeah,
Very
so I
interesting.
think he realized that there was a trade anyway, but like this was yeah a lot of loss for Kenneth. He lost like a 4/4. Yeah, he lost like three creatures in that. That's the
Now,
key.
this could be one of those dynamics where you're just hoping that the Colossus can win you off in the game,
I think
just in the
that's
next
why
turn.
he was okay with that. He wanted to narrow the board and then get the Colossus out
Yep.
and then trying to go from there because now he knew that he has a key. And then he can untap the Colossus if like David decides not to triple block or like throw away smaller creatures because he can't afford not to triple block it. It's like he's at 7, uh,
Now,
but then Kenneth can just do it turn and turn over and over again.
now Dave's got a lot of cards in hand. It would not be crazy for a counter spell to maybe be there. What do we got here?
Oh, that was yeah, that was a Sandbar Serpent. So it's like
Okay,
3/4.
so we got a 3/4. Not the scariest stat line, but it's definitely not a small one, that's for sure.
Yeah. It can maybe hit a little bit that Colossus. So yeah, big that he's coming back. There's no question here. Yeah,
Okay,
it
so
should.
the road's clear to let the Colossus just hit the table. Don't have to worry about any counter magic. And red doesn't really have anything that can kill or burn off a creature with 8 toughness.
No, I mean
Not
it's a
generally
massive
speaking.
feat, right? Well, like actually David might be able to do that because he has like 7 or 8 lands in play. We see 6 on the middle of the camera, but I think there's like 2 other outside. So he's getting close at least. And I think there was a spiral or two. Yeah, he's looking at the cards. It's gonna be yeah on. Oh no, it's a
Oh, we got a
catalog. It's
catalog
catalog.
going.
It's catalog going. Yeah. So David is also trying to dig. No, I think it was a spiral. I think it was an editing mistake. She's gonna, yeah, she's gonna move them back. Apologize to the audience. He's just gonna move it back. And I don't know what he's putting on top though. Like, what is he happy with here? Because he's gonna lose a lot of creatures.
A bounce spell would buy you a lot of time,
Your bounce is good.
but you need to close out this game. Your opponent's got two really hard to get through walls.
Yeah, and also like a little bit of yeah, like spoiler alert, but like Kenneth also has Morphling in his deck. I think the players know each other's deck for the most part here, so they will probably calculating that one in to the equation as well. There might be a Morphling coming down, like he wants to have a counter spell up or whatever, or yeah, what's the solution? Like I think at this point he's contemplating what are those blocks that I can line up here with the Colossus, how small my board is shrinking to, and then what's happening after. And oh, now it's a Shiv's Embrace.
Okay,
So
so we
there
got
you go.
double embrace on the field.
Yeah.
Some of the most powerful enchantments in this format are the embraces. There's one for each color. All of them are incredibly powerful. Most of them give flying.
Catalog for 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 diversity's sake. Yeah, like Kenneth is just cataloging. Like I'm not sure. Like I don't know how. It's interesting the embrace play because now what are you gonna do? Like block and then like toss in like 4 cards because they have an embrace on them, so you lose 2 cards when these creatures die on the
Well, I
block.
mean, at the end of the day, if you block and kill the Colossus, your opponent still has very little on the board.
That's true.
And this is one of those things where it's like, yeah, you can triple block and
Oh, I think that's why he was going.
put some mana into it. The only problem is if you have any interaction from the other side, a bounce spell or whatever, and they just simply bounce the Shivan Embrace,
Oh yeah,
it's
that's
a
a
huge
disaster.
blow,
Yeah, yeah.
huge blowout.
Yeah, I think David recognizes that if that happens, he's dead anyway. But he can't afford throwing away the creatures. Have to hope. And by the way, yeah, like it was a little bit of a bizarre situation that they were negotiating where the block is. It wasn't going in front of the fog bank or anything. It was clearly, the elephant in the house was the Colossus.
And this
So,
is just like a perfect example of even though they got the Colossus off the table, it's still a 4 for 1. Ken's still getting
oh
a
yeah,
4 for 1 huge advantage. That being said, this will take. He is probably not doing anything else for the rest of this game.
yeah, also one thing which I would point out, like very heads up play from David, keeping the creature with the Zephyr's Embrace. Because now he knows that whatever happens, if there's a Morphling coming down, this trades with the Morphling, no matter what.
Yeah,
Because like there's no combination of bumps or navigating the abilities of Morphling that just doesn't trade with this.
and this is just again another really big board stall. We got two players just kind of playing a card, drawing a card, and just staring at each other for most of the game.
Yeah, yeah. There's an owl. The owl is chipping away. Oh, no, David
Okay,
is getting
okay.
getting
So
frisky.
Fogbank's probably going to get on the Zephyr, and one day he's going to get through. 19. Death by a
You
Thousand
got,
Cuts is coming.
you gotta go do something, and there's a goblin patrol on the side. The land is behind it. Do not forget the echo.
That's
Very
the.
precise play. And then another fog
Oh,
bang. Okay.
Fogbank number 2.
So I don't know what's gonna happen here.
And do we have a counterspell? We see some mana being tapped
Oh
here.
yeah, that was a power. You can have face for it.
It just has the mana to
That
pay
is,
for it.
it's just like yeah, whatever. It's not
Power
like I
Sync
can
gets
use this.
increasingly worse the longer you sit on it, and
Yeah, this is one
especially in
of
these
those.
gummed up board games, this is a perfect example of Power Sync just not doing the thing you want it to do.
Yeah, I think David is still trying to be proactive. That's why he used that power sync, because otherwise he could have just hold it back for like Morphling again. But he chose like okay, he can't get through 2 4 packs, and then yeah,
Two Fogbanks is just a nightmare to deal with, but
yeah. I mean he probably didn't see that Kenneth can actually pay for it, or he just needed to hope that he gets that fog bank, and then Kenneth let it slide.
and
Uh,
this is just like a perfect example of that gummed up board. And Ken still needs to win this game though. Like,
yeah, yeah.
sure you have an infinite amount of time, but you still need to close out this game. You still need to get to a point
Yeah, I'm
where you're
wondering
winning it.
because he's definitely counting on Morphling. Like I'm wondering what else is in his deck, which would get him through really. Because I think him not taking damage at this point is largely solved. That's not really the problem.
And buying lots of time is very easy to do at this point, but
Yeah, but
gotta
like where do you
finish the
go from
game.
there?
Gotta close it out somehow.
Yeah, he's thinking. I'm just trying to see what are his options here.
And the big question is, what does David have left in his deck?
Yeah, I think David 19 is a lot. Like that's not easy to to get through, especially with the two fog bank. If there was like any way for David to chip away damage here, then that would make sense. But right now everything is just absolutely blocked.
And this is just like one of those boards where something like simple as hermetic study would just be such a deal breaker right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, now this is the saddest academy researcher because there's
Oh,
nothing
three mana for a 2/2.
to yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
does nothing.
Not
And we
not
got another flyer on the board.
so okay, so he's still pushing. Yeah, Kenneth is still in this, very much trying to push forward with those things. And yeah, I'm just seeing on Kenneth's side. Yeah, I mean he's banking really. Kenneth is banking on the flyer and morphling combo that somehow that too gets there. Like trade away the morphling maybe if you've top decks it, and then just get through with the flyer because it's 2/3. That's one way to solve this puzzle for Canet. And yeah, and then on David's side, there's an Arc Lightning that does have with Fog Banks. That is certainly positioned.
Okay, so we got one fog bank down.
Yeah, David is in a rougher spot because Dragon Blood already got countered here, and the embraces are. Oh, David is hoping to find all his copies of Arc Lightning, and then maybe he can initiate with the Dromosar. So at this point, David's tactic is really hoping that there's no Morphling showing up, because then he doesn't need to trade, and then he can just rule the sky with the Dromosar. That's gonna be his plan, and then hoping that he finds another Arc Lightning and just like clears out that fog bank. Like that's his game. So I think both the players are kind of understanding where their route to victory is. But yeah, but this game. Yeah, I thought that it would be over like one way or another. Either David can get out of the gates very quickly and put pressure on Kenneth, or Kenneth just finds a bomb which David can deal with. But apparently, the arm wrestling is still going on. And then there's a Prendra Flux. I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter.
This is
They're just
really
gonna
not
play.
doing anything
Yeah, they're just gonna play
impactful. I
it
mean, sure, maybe it's taxing
a little
David's
bit.
mana, but like this is really not like changing the math anywhere significant.
Where did you put that? Like,
I believe we got one more creature
yeah, like
just
I think
off
it's a
camera.
Goblin battle, but I don't even know what was that. But like, I don't think it's gonna frustrate David too much. Yeah. So there's probably a block. Oh, sorry, there was no attack. Yeah, there was. Trying to decipher what's the game action here.
Yeah, it looks like a player mistake may have happened here. But let's see what happens next.
Yeah, it doesn't change the stall though too much because again. Oh, and then now the morphling I think is coming. No, it's 6 mana.
No,
What
it's
is
6 mana.
what is happening for 6? Alright, what's in there?
What's a 6 mana spell?
Oh, it's confiscate. It's gonna be confiscate. That's the only 6 mana spell in this deck. It's confiscate. He's confiscating something, or
What does
at
he
least think.
confiscate here?
Because what he wants to confiscate it, he can't because that has shroud. So,
He
so
could confiscate the embrace.
yeah, I think he might actually miss that. What happens when you confiscate the embrace? Wouldn't you still be on that creature now if you control it? I don't think it matters, or I don't know how that plays out. Okay, now there's a Wizard's Mentor. So now this is turning the corner because now like there's another spiral David trying to set up, and I think he's really going for the arc lightning, getting the fog bank out, and then trying to pressure damage.
Yeah, yeah,
I think
it's definitely a line, that's for sure.
that's the deal here, and he's down on cards too now. Like finally, after a million turns, yeah, there's another land, and the confiscate is still a thought. Yeah, there isn't any very good target here. Yeah, this one is tough. Like Kenneth trying to see if he can get like superiority in numbers on the battlefield because of this, taking out the blocker, getting one. The problem is that his creatures are defenders for the most part. And Wall of Junk, is he technically a defender? Doesn't really matter because like
So Wall
zero
of Junk
summon.
is classified as a wall, and in this time frame,
It's
walls
still
could
us,
not
yeah,
attack, so they
yeah.
would have defenders.
It's part of the card type. Yeah, so there's another all. Okay, that that was David's game plan. Get the chaining the walls, chaining the goblin matrons. Yeah,
And just getting everything out of that deck, just getting the most consistent draws you can get is possible.
yeah, he's passing. So cannot on deaths. This is a million mana here. Uh, yeah, Morphling is arriving.
And this is just an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, like kudos to David again, keeping the Zaphid's Embrace creature over there on the battlefield and not like giving in to the temptation to trade away
Oh, is
with
that
the
an
curses.
annul in hand? That might be.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
that's a null, that could
Oh,
be.
and there's hopping automaton coming in, so we're gonna see it now. And that's an annul. Yeah, yeah, that's an annul. You were right. Yeah, and then he got the annul. It's perfectly matching up. Wow, that's one thing which is kind of beauty in this format. That cards which like sound very narrow has actual applications, and there is one of them. Like the format has a lot of enchantment, a lot of artifacts, and yeah, and all was looking great there. So he pumps the morphling, obviously, like David is having none of this. Like he kind of knows that this trade needs to happen.
Morphling is just an absolute monster.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is just impossible to deal with. It's just so strong.
Yeah, I mean, David still have the Drake problem if he trades here, but he needs to trade. There's no way that you are not trading against this Morphling. Yeah, so he does. Just put in the chips, hexproof. There's no surprise here. Let's take that trade. Run with the money while you can, and yeah, takes it. Okay, still surviving. Another land number 15 for David. Another land for Kenneth, and now the Drake is loose. So now the Drake is coming in. And yeah, I think David might want to take maybe this one. That's five. Little low, but again, you take it and then you trying to see if you can top deck anything. You do have the blocker, so there's a few turns David can survive. And then, whoa, what is he looking? There's so fireball in this format. Yeah, this life replay is kind of a joke here, but can I
Just
get?
one of those spells that just needs to be played the turn it can be cast onto,
Yeah,
and just doesn't really do
yeah,
anything here.
yeah. This is awesome. Kenneth kindly explains how this card works. They both have a laugh. That's not gonna happen. And now David knows that the heat is on. Like he gotta do the jumping. And yeah, and look at because what's happening is that Kenneth is low on cards in his library. Like he was cataloging very hard, and David takes two here. There's another spiral going under the bus. So he has none of it. Like I think David's sensing that this game might come down to decking here, which would be crazy. Like I don't know, he's gonna deck. Yeah, Drake is coming in. There's another damage. Yeah, and there's one card in the library, so David knows that this is two cards. He only needs to pass the turn and not die
And
here.
just
There's
not
only
no, the goal is to not die really.
yeah. Yeah, and cannot realizing what's going on. And that's one other way to lose a game of Magic. It's like Yeah, I mean, he does send in everything, hoping that there's a mistake being made somewhere. But there's, like three blockers on the ground against two attackers. One flyer gets through. Yeah, David is not gonna flinch here. Like he's too good of a player for that. Yeah, taking it, blocking the rest, and let's just move on with our life. Oh yeah, three attackers. Sorry, so 3-3, blocking everything. Yeah, there you go. Straight it away. The narrowest of margins. Let's see. Let's see if there's anything. It's not like, like Kenneth can deal direct damage, and there it is. Cannot concede.
Oh,
That's like one dramatic way to end the game, one of a final.